let's go. I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. Everybody look at me, cause I'm sailing on a boat.
How's it going, everybody? It's your World Champion here, and welcome back to the Naruto arc reviews, recap, however you want to say it. I'm just talking about some Naruto arcs. Semantics be damned. So we are in another filler arc, another long filler arc, another filler arc that, yeah, it has an overarching story, but the story is kind of, and the arc is kind of monster of the week style. So I kind of handled this with, in terms of like ranking and all that, I kind of handled this like I did with the past arc, where I went through the episodes and I was just like, all right, what are my 5 least favorite episodes and my 5 favorite episodes? So I have a list right here of the episodes that I didn't like as much, the episodes I did like, which actually had some interesting tidbits in them. So yeah, this arc was fine. Basically, what this arc covers. So we're still counting it out to the war. We're still like preparing for the 4th Great Ninja War and all that. This all this stuff is taking place with Naruto on a boat. So Naruto is heading over to the Hidden Cloud Village where him and Killer Bee are going to be on a mission, quote unquote, and they're basically going to be hidden for this war. So Naruto's heading there with Yamato, I forgot the Crow dude's name, some random Konoha people, and Guy Sensei. I will note, just as a side thing I didn't like in this arc, they nerfed Guy Sensei by having him with the gag of being seasick. So yeah, it was fine in the manga because, again, the manga, we only had like maybe 1 page or 1 chapter where we dealt with Guy Sensei having to be on a boat with seasickness. But this arc, it's just like every episode he's seasick, so obviously that makes him nerfed and all that shit. So without further ado, let's talk about some episodes that I didn't like in this arc. Okay, so first off, we're going to talk about the very first episode in this arc. So this episode is called, it's like The Man and the Sea. So this episode is about them getting on their boat, but they can't get on the boat because some sea monster is making them not be able to go out to sea. So Guy Sensei and the Crow guy, I always forget his name. Please, someone in the comments remind me what the Crow guy's name is, because I can't remember it for the life of me right now. They head out on a little dinghy, and they go out to the sea and try to take care of the beast. It turns out it's like this summoned spirit from the last Great Ninja War, and they can't do anything about it for some God knows reason. Naruto tries to go out there, but he can't do anything. And then this fisherman dude comes out, harpoons the damn thing, and tries to take it down. So the whole story is just like about him taking down the beast. The beast gets taken down. Everyone lives happily ever after. I mean, well, they don't really take down the beast. They find out that like it was still injured from a ninja tool or something, and the Naruto takes it out. The beast goes, but they like follow this fisherman to like fight the beast on his own terms, so like a fisherman would. It was just boring. That was my main thing about it. It was just so boring. I was just done with it. So that was the first episode I didn't really like. The next one is Lee's training. So this is a little bit of a flashback. This takes place, I think, from what I remember, because it's actually been like a week or 2 since I watched this arc. I should have recorded my review back then, but that's besides the point. So Lee, this takes place. So if you remember Lee when he fought Kimimaro, he used the drunken fist style, and we learned that we found out that Lee can use the drunken fist after he drank just a tiny bit of sake after celebrating completing the primary lotus jutsu. So I guess this is like the morning after. But Lee is trying to remember what Guy Sensei taught him the night before, and Guy Sensei is just like, I don't want to teach you because I don't want to unlock what that beast was, that drunken beast. So they go through some shenanigans, and um, they both end up getting seasick on a little tiny dinghy. And Guy Sensei is just like, all right, fine. Here's the truth, because Rock Lee is actually just like, look, I've been trying to make you remember because I know it was something bad because I remember you apologizing to the person last night. So whatever I did, I'm sorry for it. And so Guy Sensei finally tells him, he's just like, okay, look, you are a drunken fist master, and I didn't want to teach you because A, you're too young for this, but B, I didn't want that monster to come out. But he ends up teaching him anyway. So it's just like, why? Okay. Again, the thing with this episode is it just didn't do anything for me. It's not like it angered me or anything. It just didn't do anything for me. And that's honestly the worst thing you can do. It's one thing to like really make somebody mad in an episode. It's another thing where you just don't do anything for it. So that's basically this episode in a nutshell. Next, speaking of anger, ooh, I have some words for this. So this is an episode that deals with Konohamaru and his little gang. Konohamaru wants to be part of the big war, but he's all sad because he can't fight in it. Blah, blah, blah. So he ends up fighting Tamara, getting his ass kicked, tries to use a Rasengan, gets respect. There, bada bing, bada boom, done. He tries to find out how he can help, and he basically just does chores everywhere, but that's not good enough for Konohamaru. He wants to fight. Shut up. War is not a game. And even Moegi says this in the episode. War is not a fucking game. Just because you want to protect something, that's fine if you want to protect something. But we're talking about war here. This isn't just some mission where you're fighting some evil person or like some group or anything. Like, well, I mean, you can say yes, but no, this is war, man. This is like some 5-year-old saying, give me that AK-47. I'm going to go to Iraq and shoot all the people. No, that's not, no, Konohamaru, you fucking idiot. That's not what this war is about. I know you want to help Naruto. You want to protect him. I understand that. I get that. But you need to understand what war is, you stupid kid. There's other things you could be doing. You could be helping your village by preparing for the war. You can help your village by being one of the protectors that stay behind to protect the non-combatants. You can help out the village in that many other ways besides wanting to go to war. You are not ready for that, kid. You may have learned the Rasengan. You may have used it on a pain, but that doesn't mean you are ready for full-blown out war. I swear, if Konohamaru actually did go to that war, he would have died. He would have died. Or Kishimoto would have done some bullshit like he did in the Pain arc to make him win a fight. This just kind of stems from my hatred towards Konohamaru. All right, what's the next episode? What's the next episode? Oh, look, Sai's day off. Great. Guess what? This is basically a glorified clip show of showing Sai's journey with Naruto and Sakura and basically being like, I'm grown up because now that I can feel emotions, I'm Sai, I'm a character. You're still a plank of wood. I don't like Sai either, if you can catch my drift. This episode did nothing for me as well. This one actively didn't do anything for me. Last but not least, Kiba. So I mentioned in my last Naruto Shippuden arc review that Kiba started whining. There's a whole episode of him whining. And it's so bad. Like, I understand your frustration. You lost to Naruto in the tuning exam because of a fart. You are a fart, sir. And this episode is proving that. Because he just goes around town mumbling instead of like trying hard. You can try hard, Kiba. You can train a little bit more. Instead, you're just the butt of everybody's joke. You're just an idiot. Literally, I should have a Kiba counter. I should have had a Kiba counter for these arc reviews to mention every single time Kiba just annoyed me and did something stupid. I should have had a Kiba counter. Kiba counter would probably be at like 4 or 5 right now. Actually, probably 3 or 4, if I'm being honest. But still, it's just so annoying, dude. Just stop it. And he sulks the whole time. He's just like, I'm stupid Naruto better than me. Stop, stop, stop. Stop trying to be a wannabe Sasuke. Stop, just stop. Stop it. Stop it. And then he trains with Kakashi's ninja hounds, and they tease him because it's easy to tease Kiba. God, Kiba's character just went downhill. Not only just in the manga from less exposure, but the anime did not do him any justice here. Not at all. You could have done so much more with Kiba. And then he even shows off the two-headed wolf thing that he did against the fucking Sound 4. Still didn't do shit. Still don't have control of that, do you? Do you, Kiba? Whatever, Kiba sucks. Let's talk about some more positive things. This episode is interesting. There's a reason I put it on here. So, this is the premise of this episode is this big hulking guy is saying that he's Naruto Uzumaki. So he's pretending to be Naruto, he's robbing people, and his best friend is, acting like a police officer and, ringing him in and all that stuff. So they meet up with Naruto, the real Naruto. They have a little bit of a scuffle. Naruto tells him to stop it. Some bandits catch this guy, and his friend doesn't abandon him, but he tries to run back to the ninja. The reason I put this in here is because this is a good story of using your name for good, and also Naruto and the Konoha gang. That's what I'm going to call Guy, Yamato, and Crow Dude, the Konoha gang. So Naruto and the Konoha gang, they do this elaborate plan where they just all right, fine, whatever, do what you want. We're not going to help you, blah, blah, blah. But it's all to test the guy to be like, I'm going to stick by my friend and all that instead of abandoning his friend. It's all about don't abandon your friends. This one at least entertained me a little bit more than some of the others, which is why I'm starting off with it. But it was a fine episode. It was okay. It was whatever. Now, speaking of which, here we go. So this episode, I dubbed it Jiraiya's Ex. So here's the concept of this episode. Jiraiya, back in his day, went to this all-women's village. See where you're going with this? Yeah. So he went there for research purposes, obviously, and he ended up beating the person that was supposed to be their leader, or was going to be their leader. And apparently the rule in their village is if you're, whoever you lose to in a ninja battle has to bear your child. They have to be the father of your child. Granted, they can't go to the village with you, but they basically have to pork you and cause you to have a baby. I know, baby. My cat, Shelby, she was just all like, what? When I said pork. So she knows what I'm talking about. I hope you in the audience know what I'm talking about. So because Jiraiya never went up with that, he said that, I'll leave it to my student. And at the time, he didn't have Naruto as a student. This was during his big journey of finding his student. So years pass. Woman ends up having a daughter and all that, and now it's her burden to bear to marry Naruto. So Naruto has to wed this girl, and he's just like, no, I'm not doing that. That's dumb. I am not my master, and you guys are stupid. I am not doing this. So he still has to fight with the girl. He still beats her, but he's like, look, do what you want. I'm not doing this. Now the reason this is such a good episode is because we have a great scene, and almost it just makes it hit harder when that Jiraiya died. There's a scene in here where he's talking to the woman. She's just like, why don't you want to come back with me? And he's just like, look, I already gave my heart to a woman. He's talking about Tsunade. He's like, I already gave my heart to her. She rejected me, but I'm still going to protect her. She still has my heart, and she will always have my heart no matter what. And goddamn, that just the heartstring just pulls it hard. Oh, it's such a beautiful moment that I just couldn't not have this episode in some of the ones I liked. Plus, it's just kind of funny having Naruto in that kind of situation. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say about that episode. Next episode, okay, hear me out. The premise of this episode sounds bad on paper. In execution, it kind of works. So here's the basis of this. So everyone's getting ready for the war. The Hyuga clan have their little meeting. Neji ends up becoming the leader of the Hyuga clan for, like, the commander of the Hyuga clan for the war, instead of Hinata, who is part of the main branch. So it's part of that, like, main branch, lesser branch kind of thing. So she's dealing with that. You see some of the other women kind of dealing with their own shit, especially Tsunade, because she's in a war council meeting and all that bullshit. And she ends up going out drinking because she's tired of everything. And then all of a sudden, 1010's just like, hey, all the girls, let's get together. Let's just get some barbecue. Let's just hang out. Let's just relax. And the boys kind of follow her too, follow the girl group as well, but they're in their own booth, so they're having like a guys' night and all that. So the guys actually mentioned, it's kind of quiet without Naruto there. So, they're reminiscing and all that. And so are the girls. They're all reminiscing. Just the reason I put this on here. So yes, on paper, it's just like, oh, they're all just going out to dinner. That's kind of boring, especially because it's 1010 being like, hey, let's have a girls' night. Also Tsunade joins them and she talks about her boobs and all that. So all for that. But yeah, so on paper, it's just kind of like whatever episode. But this is actually really good because we have some stuff in here dealing with Hinata and Neji, and we actually see that within some flashbacks. So Hinata tried to get some help from Neji, some training from Neji, so she could get better as well. So we get to see a little bit of that, but not only that, we get to just see them being normal. Like that's the one thing in some of these shonen series. Not a lot of them just show the characters being normal. Like that's one thing I love about like One Piece movies. Right before like the movie starts, or like actively, like it's like right at the beginning of the movie, the Straw Hats are just hanging out, like Strong World, they're just swimming about. Film Z, they're having like a cherry blossom festival. Film Gold, they're fighting pirates to jazz music, which is cool. But even Stampede, they're heading towards the pirate festival. Like it's just you're seeing these characters be normal, which is great. And that's what I like about this episode. It's normal. It's down to earth normal. Because yeah, this huge war is about to happen, but you can't just be so gung ho about it. You can't just be all up about it. Just take some time and sit back, relax a little bit so you can be more productive while getting ready for the war. All right. So that's why I appreciated this episode, I guess, is what my main thing is. And I wanted to highlight that because, again, that's one thing I love in a series. I think that's honestly why I love My Hero Academia so much, is because that's a series that is surrounded by human nature and human interaction, and just there's a lot of characters that are down to earth. Like we have all these like superpowers and gods and all this bullshit. That is just nice to see characters act human, and that's what makes them more relatable for me. So kudos to this episode. I enjoyed it for that. Hear me out. Hear me out again. So another episode that I know is kind of divisive in the fan base. So this episode, again, one of those episodes that if you put it on paper, it sounds cringy. Long story short, the clones, Naruto's shadow clones, rebel against him. I mean, turns out it's just a dream anyways, but whatever. Naruto's clones end up rebelling against him. So on paper, that looks bad. But hear me out again. This is setting up for what's about to happen. I'm not going to say too much because I want to save that conversation for that moment. But this is setting up for something that's about to happen with Naruto taming the Nine-Tailed Fox's power. And it's all about combating yourself, combating the parts of you that make you you. So we have different parts of him. We have like the cocky version, the confident version, the feminine version, and the shy version. We have all these different versions of Naruto, all part of his personality that some he doesn't like to talk about more than others. But he comes to a head with these guys because they feel like they're being mistreated and all this other bullshit. But it comes to the point where it's just like, well, wait a minute. He's fighting himself. This is himself that he's talking about. These are his what's the word? His emotions. Like these are the parts of him that make him him. And he's having to fight these guys. Not only just like he doesn't fight them. He doesn't, fist fight them. He just talks to them. Yeah, he's annoyed by them and all that, but they are him. And he realizes that. He learns that he's just like, these guys are me. And this is filler that adds to things. Just like that's my whole philosophy with filler. If it adds to the story, then fine. Great. It can be shitty for all I care, but if it adds something to the story, fine, whatever. This adds to the story, If we had just a couple of filler episodes, the episodes I'm mentioning right now would have been fine, I mean, maybe get rid of the fake Naruto one, whatever, but you got to have one cringy one. I'm sorry, but I thought this was a really good way of like foreshadowing what's about to happen with the fight against the Nine Tails to control its power, but also like the battle that Naruto has to face daily, because he's had to face this daily growing up, and still to this day he has to face it. So just another one I just wanted to highlight real quick. All right, so I believe this is the last episode. Yeah, this is the last episode of the filler, and the last episode we'll talk about. So they hit their synopsis of this episode. Naruto and the Konoha gang arrive at the final supply station before getting to the Cloud Village. They meet up with Akatsuchi and Korotsuchi, I think is his name. I don't know. They meet up with two of the Stone Village members that we saw at the 5 Kage Summit. And Chojiro, I think his name is. Anyways, these two become Kages later. Whatever. So, well, not whatever. But yeah, they end up, because they have the stone has a message to give to the Mizukage because of the war. So what ends up happening is the stone gets there, and there's this group of hidden mist ninja there that defected because they didn't like the idea of the war, of this joint shinobi alliance. So what happens is they kind of has a fight. The main mist guy, he sends everybody back, and he's just like, look, I'm gonna go back without fighting. Everything's fine. But there's this whole thing about revenge in it. So it's just kind of hammering on the same thing that Naruto's trying to get across, is that ending this cycle of hatred. Don't need to have revenge, because revenge just ruins everything. It sends you down this dark path. So it's just another episode to kind of hammer that in. But I just like that we're including some of these other characters in here, especially characters that become Kage later on that, if I remember correctly in the manga, we didn't get a lot of time with. And then at the end, we're just like, oh, they became the next Tsuchi Kage and Mizukage. Okay, fine. All right, whatever. But yeah, it was an all right episode. But what did I think of the arc as a whole? So the arc as a whole is a D+. There was a lot of boring stuff. I'm gonna say that much. This is where the last big filler arc, I had trouble coming up with 5 because I had so many episodes that I liked in that one. It was hard to bring that down to 5. It was easy to think of 5 ones I didn't like. That was easy. Thinking of 5 ones I liked out of the bunch I did was tough. This one was easy because about what, two of these had really great messages to them. One of them was like a reminder of a character and just like a legacy he left behind. One had just like another hit at the message that Naruto was trying to get across. The other one was just, I mean, it was trash. I won't deny that, but it was the trash that I can stomach. But it was just, this one was boring. It was boring to get through. I was just like, okay, are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Okay. And to my knowledge, this was the last arc that's like this. I know there's still some filler arcs to go, but I think they tie into the story a little better. I think there's one that doesn't. And I actually never watched that. So the filler arcs we're about to get to are ones that I've never watched. So I'll be going into them somewhat blind because like I didn't watch the I didn't read the novels or anything, but yeah. So D plus is the final grade for this arc. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this massive filler arc. Again, I thought it was kind of boring. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you thought of it. Be sure to like the video if I entertained you in any way, shape, or form. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next arc review. The next Naruto arc review is going to be part 2 of the Countdown to War. And if I'm not mistaken, this actually has a huge moment in it. Big things happen, and I can't wait to talk about it. So as always, people, I've been your world champion, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.
I don't need you. Better things are coming.